come from Leicester, which you know is quite a journey and a half. And the guest we have tonight is Dimitri and Ruby and Gladys. That's it. And so, Dimitri, after such a long drive, I bet you're glad to be in this blessed studio with us here tonight. And we're going to go into you telling us a little bit about what Dimitri is about. What's your sound and what do you do?
Yes, greetings. Thank you for having me. Enough respect to Prof, enough respect to all of you. Big up the Bless FM listeners. Yeah, we've come down from Leicester. I represent a label called CounterAction. I go by the name of Mitri or Dimitri, as you just said. And we've been kind of doing music for quite a long while now. We prefer vinyl. We support sound system culture fully. We do a lot of it in Leicester, most of it. I've also worked and played music for years with Vibronics, who is also at Leicester. And yeah, tonight, hopefully we'll get a chance to run some tunes and play some new things as well and go through all of that. But yeah, reggae music, sound system music you would hear on Abashanti or Iration or Shaka or any of the sounds, Channel 1 and Tubbies and so on, you know?
That's wonderful. That's wonderful to hear. A blessing to the ears because it's about positive vibration. So when did you start your journey in this sector, you know, going through your musical? What was it that was the pinnacle, really, for you to say, this is what I really want to...
Yes, Prof.
Oh, here we go. There's two of the ladies in the studio tonight, so there's three of us. Yeah, I have to do this all the time. So, Dimitri, when did you start? When was the pinnacle for you to say, yeah, this is what I really want to do? Was it at quite a young age, or was it after going through a bit of a journey in music? When did that happen?
I guess it sort of happened naturally. My parents were quite into music. They always had parties. People came, played live music. They loved vinyl. They had lots of records. So I grew up listening to records and going through, you know, the credits and
so it's like a foundation.
Yeah, and at some point in my early teens I started trying out different instruments. I ended up doing a bit of guitar, a bit of drums. I got into bands. And some points obviously we knew of Bob Marley and things like that, but I have to say this is all in Greece. I was born in France, but my mom and dad are Greek, so we had access to some music, but not so much as you guys have over here, especially music from the Caribbean. So we knew of Marley maybe, but we didn't know much further than that. One day I heard Max Romeo's Chase the Devil, and as a drummer I got fascinated with the rhythm, and I sort of started trying to play it, and that combined with a mixtape I had when I was 8 years old that had Black Uhuru on it and various other artists, you know, from the day, even Grace Jones when Sly and Robbie produced it and so on. So it was part of my very early days. And I think sort of without really putting that into a focus or trying for that, it sort of just happened along the way, you know.
So it's almost like it's just like you were saying, a natural progression, because you had that foundation and that initial learning of the appreciation of different sounds and a cross section of music, and then, you know, this influence of hearing such beautiful you know, it really resonated with you, and so I guess, like you're saying, it just you naturally went down this way rather than it being a planned.
Yeah, there's something about reggae, and especially conscious reggae, but obviously, you know, works that like that sort of touch you on different levels before you even realize that it's happening. So it kind of draws you in. And the more you know, for me it became an obsession. I started going, I would always go to record shops and buy stuff, but I stopped buying anything other than reggae.
That's good.
You know, and before you know it, I found, you know, I traveled, but eventually I settled here. I followed Shaka, you know, for years, and Tubbies and various other sounds, and met with Vibronics and started doing some stuff with Vibronics and playing drums and percussion. and doing some of the live shows, and with singers like Parvez and Madhu Messenger and Jamania and Echo Ranks, all people from Leicester. And through that, I met Richie Roots, who was also a founding member of Scoops Records, the record label that Vibronics is still mainly releasing through. At the time, he had taken some time off to grow his daughter, and I ended up, moving next door to him, completely not knowing.
Oh wow!
We met on street. I knew him from the works with Vibronics. We started jamming, and through that, my label was born, CounterAction, through him being a bassist and me a drummer. And from then, it sort of grew onwards. I released some stuff in Greece in '98. I think it was the first time with my band, and there was a bit of reggae in that, but there was a bit of sort of fusion of music. But like I said, the more I kind of got into it, the more I got fascinated and specialized in it.
Specialized, wonderful. So how do you find the different demographics? How do the different demographics respond to the reggae music? So in France or in Greece or in Leicester or in other areas throughout the country, where would you say you get the most natural tendencies of people to tune into that sound?
I think that's a really interesting question, and obviously there's a lot of levels to it. But I think it has the same effect, and it touches people throughout the generations and the different languages, classes, whatever you want to call it. I'll give you an example. I played in Belgium a few weeks ago, and there was a sound I was playing on, and I was admiring it because it was very custom. The preamps were very weird. Everything looked like the man had pieced it together. And it turned out he had. And he was in his early 20s, and he was like, I'm in a band, I'm doing a million different things, but I really wanted to have a sound system, and I couldn't afford all the equipment. So I started building it myself. So that was the first level of shock. The second level of shock is these young selectors come in to warm up. They were about 18 to 20 odd. And they started playing essentially the same selection I would play. I'm a 70s baby, early 80s child. And I grew up with the music of 70s and 80s essentially. These kids were 18 and they were listening to music that I am still playing. And I found that incredible. It's like me in the 70s listening to music from the 50s or something. And then but my point is that it touches still all the generations. There's some interesting discussions about the level of consciousness, because there is a massive sort of like fashion, if you like, in Europe, especially with bass music. And so there's all kinds of different types of bass music. There's also all kinds of sound systems that are influenced from classic sound systems, who always tend to promote Rastafari and a certain consciousness. But now we take that, younger generations have taken that out of the equation. So you have all kinds of different approaches, if you like. But I find when you play, music that has deeper levels in terms of what it expresses, but is also, made for sound system, it's made to dance to, you touch people regardless of what the context is, But I find it's everywhere, and people receive it differently. Like in Greece, people will stand with crossed arms and stare at you and might not even make a noise. And you might think, oh, they're not really feeling this.
But maybe they're listening.
But they're fully into it. They're just very different ways of expressing, And it's also, I'm at an age now where I've been around for a few years, and you see the progression of different places. Like I've been to Romania 3-4 times. And the difference between the first time I went and the third time, there was already 6 sound systems, and there was, sessions going on up and down the country and so on. So I think like reggae music is probably the most powerful music there is in the world right now.
Absolutely,
without exaggeration. And it's everybody's, I read somewhere in Rolling Stone or something, it's everybody's second favorite music. But that says a lot, innit?
I mean, I absolutely agree, because reggae music in its true form is really it's a spiritual thing, and it touches you on a spiritual level. So it's dealing with your chakras, and it's also dealing, with your heart chakra quite a lot. So that bass line, that drum beat, it's making you vibrate to alignment. And that's why it's such an important sound, not just for us to develop in our understanding of sound, but as for us to connect to the natural energy that's running through the planet. So definitely, this is a spiritual sound. And that's why it can reach so many people, because at the end of the day, we know that we're we're spiritual people. Let me get that right. We're spiritual, yeah, but we're housed in a physical body. So it's the spirit that you need to touch at a core, because we spend so much time focused on the outside rather than the inside. And this is why this music, this particular sound, these frequencies, and I'm sure there's a 512 in there. And that's why it can reach so many people. She's smiling over there, sis. So what is your... where's your most favorite place to play?
Oh,
Do you dare?
where's my favorite place? I have to say that there's certain places have, you know, different, like I said, it's different expressions, but it is fun to play at big events with a lot of, you know, young people being extremely rowdy and loving it sometimes. But it's also nice to play smaller venues with people who are getting the meditation, who are, you know, closing their eyes and, like you say, are going in rather than out. So, yeah, I can't really answer that easily.
Okay.
I love, you know, it's an incredible chance to be able to play music and to have a life that's based off music, in which, you know, whichever form that is.
Yeah.
So I think having the chance to play, even if it's to one person, that is still something that not many people can enjoy, you know. And I think that alone really works for me still.
So, as someone who produces music, what do you do for yourself to actually rejuvenate and actually draw your inspiration from which source? What do you do to get that? Because we all need to top up on our energy.
True. You got to take care of yourself, and that's, you know, the older I get, that I understand. The more you're in touch, and the more you work on yourself physically and spiritually, the more you can offer in terms of a human being, first of all, you know what I mean, but also further through your art or your works. So I think that's probably the thing that you just have to keep working on. And as long as you do that, there'll be constant inspiration, because at the end of the day, we are the ones clouding our worlds and making ourselves, you know, in certain conditions.
So I understand what you're saying. It's about learning to free your mind from shackles, as in free your mind from the particulars of society, so that you can actually think in your true self, and then allow that energy to correct me if I'm wrong.
No, this is the ultimate, you know, this is the ultimate goal for any human being, really, isn't it? Like, to get more and more in touch with, you know, themselves, but not really in the ego sense, but just to kind of work on being a better human, and
absolutely
judging less, and being kinder, and you know, from yourself you have to do that. It's like that thing they say in airplanes, where you have to wear the oxygen mask first before you help anybody else.
Yes.
That's the only person we can really influence at the end of the day.
It's a little bit like they say you have to learn to love yourself first for who you truly are before you can love another human being.
Exactly. And you know, stuff around, man, things happening in the world, thoughts. I write lyrics as well as make music, and it's always a way to, you know, that's what I was saying earlier about reggae music being the most powerful, but music, I think, is also one of the most powerful art forms, because it's still very direct, and if people will give you the chance to listen, you can touch them in places and take them to places, and make the world around them different just through listening to your music. And I think I kind of love doing that to myself first, and be through that, you know.
Yeah, because I guess as you play, regardless of what your own vibration is, when you hit a mixer, you do, say if you're not having such a great day, let's take that for example, and then you go and play some music, do you find that it alters your frequency?
100%.
Yeah.
it's the same with like any kind of thing. Like you know, working out, people listen to music a lot, or you know, when you're driving, or and it can affect your alertness. It can affect your mood. It can affect your, you know, if you listen to some hardcore jungle and you drive, you know, there's no escaping you getting a bit of road rage and taking turns aggressively. Do you know what I mean?
I've got a brother who's a junglist, so I've seen this.
It's inevitable. You know what I mean? Whereas if you play, you know, some cool acoustic stuff, you'll probably be going a bit slower than the limit.
And calmer. Definitely. So you say that you write lyrics as well. So what kind of characteristics does your lyrics take on?
I guess what we're discussing, it's sometimes a little political, but it's all about, you know, a man's spiritual journey. And a lot of it is like what you would advise your own self to do. Not really. I've done a couple of songs that are about relationship and love and so on. I haven't really done many love songs though still, so it's mainly just spiritual songs. I guess
it's the vibe.
You know? The Empress says, I don't know if you can hear her in the background saying thank God. She a real warrior. She like warrior tunes still. Trust me. Prof saying no love song, tell me personally, you know?
Yes. I guess that's because the energy that the sound carries, you want, it's the perfect kind of form to deliver messages of positivity and upliftment and about self-development, rather than songs about how you emotionally feel at that moment in time with that particular person, which is not everlasting.
Straight. There is lessons in some great songs about relationships, don't get me wrong. And it's a very interesting subject in general, how you approach it, especially now the way people use music to talk about certain things. I guess popular music has always been about that. So, you know, I don't want to diss it in any way, but I guess it's more about what I'm going through and what I'm obsessed at various times, the spiritual journey, the difficulties, meditation, you know, more warrior tunes. I think that's also what's attractive about Rastafari and the whole culture, is that it's a very living culture. It's a street but also churchical thing. It's somewhere in the middle of that, all of that. And I come from an Orthodox background, being Greek, so I kind of relate to that radicalness, if you like, the way we use the best bits of that, but we use it in a smart, modern, streetwise fashion. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
But we'd still give importance to spirituality, to meditation, to the inward journey, but we're also living in Babylon. We're not monks, you know. And I think that's what's attractive about this music as well. Is you can ignore the lyrics and still get a certain energy out of it, no doubt. But then the lyrics give it that extra level, and it might not be like the old time reggae music in the sense that it was direct news, although it still is sometimes. But a lot of it is very, you know, very serious, deep things that you would not necessarily even have conversations at home about sometimes.
Absolutely.
And that's, I think, the reason why I love this music in general. It's so real, and it covers all of that.
Yeah. And I think because you touched on Rastafari and its way of living, and that it's a liberty. So the influence of that liberty is about freedom of spirit, and it's also, as you say, still juxtaposed against an orthodox background. So there is that relationship in coming from Greek Orthodox and having His Majesty being Orthodox also. You will I guess you would find many similarities to relate to that overstanding of scriptural things or spiritual things coming from His Majesty, because it's still this orthodox overstanding. Yeah.
Indeed. I think, I mean, this could veer off on a crazy tangent here, but I was listening to Muta Baruka the other day, and he was making a point about how there is a certain duality in the origins of Rastafari. So when Howell's camp got taken down, a bunch of people took the Bible and stayed in the city, went to Bakawal and focused on the Bible, and so developed more of a churchical kind of gospel kind of approach, right? But there was a whole other section of people who left the city altogether and went to the hills and lived the night at liberty, drank from the water of the river and didn't put salt in their food and watched the seasons and the moon, and they have a completely different wisdom and don't even check the Bible. Some can't even read, but are fully Rastafari. So there's these two different approaches, and that's, I think, an incredibly powerful thing, because the wisdom is somewhere in between that. And especially the way we live now, we live in cities, we eat that food, we play all these inevitable games, you know, but somehow Rasta still retains that living in the hills life, somewhere in the meditation of it all. I think that's what's really powerful.
Because you always stay connected to what you're spiritually and naturally drawn to, and regardless of the environment that you're in, it's like train up a child in the way it should go. Once that's within you, you will always follow that path no matter where you are. So it doesn't matter which city you are in or which environment that you are in, whether it's more GMO or not, you will still maintain that because of the foundation. You know, your feet are built on solid rock rather than sinking sand.
I think so. I think that's very true, man. I think it's also, you know, that's what I was saying. We're not monks. We live amongst all of this, and it's very easy to make mistakes and trip ups and fall down. But you always know which way you're heading that way, and you can also listen to this music for more inspiration, for more perspectives on how to do that and how to apply it. You know, there's not many real life livity, you know, people following that vibe around, if you look, especially in the West, you know what I mean? That's, I think, incredible that it's still surviving in the madness of it all.
Yeah,
you know?
because you can never stop the light from shining.
Exactly.
Checky, 1, 2. Greetings, greetings, I meet you. Yes,
Bless
people, you're locked onto blessradio.org. Otherwise, and you can go to the TuneIn app, type in Bless FM, one word, it comes up. You can just check up on the FM 92.9. Everything is everything. Right, so I go on, people. So I know all the silent listeners, all tight, Brother Danites, all tight Tarlites. I saw him. Yeah, all tight Tarlites. Everything is everything, man. Just stand strong. You don't know. All tight DJ Mr. P. Yeah. All right, we're talking to a man, Mitri, the founder of CounterAction Record Productions. Yeah. All tight Sista Lel, you done some good interrogation, you know. I tell
That's
you.
some serious reasoning, man.
You. No, I just kick back and relax now. You just kind of like crush my thing now again. You know what I mean? You always do that, so that's why I kind of bought you a large Rizzler, because I knew you was gonna do something like this. You know what I mean? But it's all right. That's how we get on in here, one family thing. You know what I mean? So greetings, Mitri. Welcome.
Greetings, Prof, man.
Yes,
Give thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
It's
man.
an
Anytime, man. Family thing, you don't know. What type family? What type Charlie P? You don't know about the family thing. You don't know it, huh? How's it? Oh, OBF. Bless up Rika.
Every time. What's at the Geneva family, man?
Right. So, Mr. Mitri, before we even get into the conversation, I'm just going to ask a couple of questions. And those who are locked on, in a little while, Mitri is going to be running some tunes for you to make you know what I go on, some of the original CounterAction production, and also some of the new stuff. Also, we're going to be playing some new selections from Sister Rashida, you know what I mean, who's doing very well out there, you know what I mean. Soon she'll be doing enough things abroad and spreading your works far and wide, you know what I mean, like the sisters and the empresses do, you know what I mean. Yeah. So, Mitri, I don't know if you asked him this question, right? Because you asked him everything that I was going to ask. Yeah, so I just have to work you along the way now, yeah? Thank you very much for your assistance. I know, it's good. It's all love. All right. Mitri, what started you into Rastafari? How did your journey begin? What was that point where you say, that's it? What started your journey? How did you? It's not a thing like a man just. When people see people take on the covenant and walk as Rastafari, it's not an easy thing. That's why I'm asking you. So people might think, oh, it's just a general. It's not. So all those who got through the walk, the real walk. Them know say I know not easy thing. So how did you? What led you in this path of Rastafari, and why did you choose that way?
I think it's a combination of two things really. One is I heard Guess Who's Coming to Dinner very, very, very young, and it touched me a certain way. And the lyrics mystified me because I was in Greece. I didn't see any dreadlocks before. I had no idea what he was talking about. But also, I was a very restless youth. I was always looking up to and doing very silly things, and I guess that happens to people in their young age because that's the only way you learn. And in the midst of that, I started reading the bits that were referenced in this music and seeing the approach to life and to the world in general from certain men like Bob Marley and Spear and so on. And I guess I kind of grew into it, Ras, before I even realized it had happened.
All right. So what you're saying, yeah, a lot of people have said this and have made that decision that you've made, but to actually put on the covenant, right? That's a different step. So that's where the journey begins, and that's where everything changes. A lot of ones and young people come into the thing, and they might listen roots music, and yeah, them love Rastafari, and I think I follow that way of life. But to actually lax up from the and to start that journey, I'm sure you noticed a lot of change in people along the way.
For sure.
Yeah, towards you. So
Yeah.
that's the part that I'm trying to make people understand. It's not us alone as black man that got through the journey. Everybody got through the journey.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, what made you still stay on this journey? Because it's sometimes you must have thought like jumping off.
Yeah, I think it's like I was saying, I was a restless youth, and at some point that energy turned into sort of a radicalness. And in Greece, you deal with a very kind of old setup where the church is involved with the state, and you know, if you wear a tie and you're clean shaven, like people lay out red carpets for you. But if you've got a beard and you got dreads, you're automatically a criminal. It's that kind of society. You walk to the supermarket, all the ladies start kissing their teeth right, left, and center. Yeah. So for me, it happened in school. Every time my hair got too long, I would always have to cut it after the summer because I would get in trouble. And then in Greece, you also have to go through a national service, and you have to shave even if you haven't got a beard every day, and you have to shave your hair. I did that for almost 2 years. After that, I stopped instantly, like naturally. I never cut it since, you know, I was 19. And 3 years later, it started loxing up. And I think it was whilst I was also going through that transformation as a young man, and having my freedom and being an adult, and you know, that kind of manifesting itself physically. But I always felt naturally more complete whilst leaving my head alone. You know what I mean?
Seeing, because to me, Rasta is a spiritual thing. Yeah, that's how I see it. It's a spiritual way of life. Some people say it's a religion. Some people say whatever they want to say, all different kind of things what people say. But to I, it's a spiritual walk. It's a way of life. Yeah, some people say, no man, I know we are life, and whatever, everybody's opinion. I respect your opinion. So you don't have to respect my opinion, but I respect their opinion. You know what I mean? That's His Majesty say, who am I to kind of ruin your faith? If you believe in this, then I'm not the one to crush that, to rush to spoil your belief, to crush your faith and leave you with nothing. Because that's all you have, as far as I'm concerned. For you to put your faith and your soul and your mind and your spirit into something or some being, it's not good to crush it. You know what I mean? That means you'll have to explain to them and counsel them and go through and tell them. But some people don't want to hear that. Some people just believe what they believe. So that's why I say true life experience, I see it as a spiritual way of life. The right way of life. You know what I mean? Some people, you know, said yam meat and all these things, that's up to them. You know what I mean? I feel say it wrong, but if that's what they choose to do, That's their walk. But the more you walk to the spiritual side of things, you end up dropping certain things.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Automatically. That's why in your journey, yeah, in your culture, there's not many vegetarians.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
There's
So
only, interestingly enough, there's, the fast before
Yeah.
Easter, which is
Yeah.
like a 40-day fast.
yeah,
So there is actually a lot of vegan food during those days,
yeah,
but it's only during those days.
that's it.
And modern people don't really follow the traditions. That's kind of the interesting thing about the whole argument of whether Rasta is a religion or not. I feel personally
Yeah.
that religion, in many ways, is kind of done its course. And
Yeah.
if you look at all the religious institutions, they're all corrupt and
Yeah.
lost, and you know what I mean. So that's what religion, capital letters, headline means to many people. If religion means a spiritual journey, then it is a religion. You know what I mean? But I feel like we were saying earlier with the sister that it's a real life livity
Mm-hmm.
that is very deeply spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I think. And it also references all the the most fundamental things that as a youth in orthodoxy I saw, you know burning frankincense, reading certain scriptures, chanting, because in Greek Orthodoxy there's Byzantine tradition, so the ones them chant, they harmonize, they use ancient Greek a lot of the time. So it's a very mystical experience. So I saw the power in that, but I also saw the corruption of the church itself, which is just like any other church, made up of humans. And
Yeah, they
you know?
deny the corruption, but
Of course,
at the middle to the top, you know what I mean, you have to answer to a man. Yeah, it's a normal man. This man don't create no miracles. This man don't raise the dead. It's just an ordinary man you have to answer to, and that's where I differ to say, why do I have to answer to a man? Because when a judgment come and one is in the presence of the Most High, you can't turn around and say, is that man make you do this, because the Most High gave you a free will. Yeah, so it's your decision
yeah,
whether you choose to do right or wrong. But there is certain spirits or certain what they call angels that don't have a free will. So you have some demonic spirit. They have to. That's what they do. They can't do nothing else. Then you have the good angels, which we call good angels or archangel Michael, whatever. They do good things. There's nothing else they can do. So I look at it like they don't have no free will. They just have one of the will of the Almighty and one of the opposite. There is no middle ground. We are in the middle, where we have a choice to go to the left or the right. That's what makes it like whatever decision we make is our own.
yeah,
We can't blame the devil. You can't blame God. You can't blame Allah, Buddha, nobody.
yes,
Because you have a free will. That means you have a choice to decide if you want to believe in this thing. The Most High will know, so that's what you choose to do. But
Yeah.
do you know the root of what you believe in? Do you
Yeah.
know the seed of it?
And I think it's furthermore, it's you just have to, the idea of faith
Yeah, yeah.
is also another very misused word, but the foundation of that is you are fully trying, and you keep trying no matter what. I feel that's for me the representation of you are, and I feel the more you are on it, the more things open up in the world, in terms of your senses, in terms of your overstanding. The more you lose your way, then the more you get lost in it.
Because you tune out.
Yeah, you tune out, exactly.
Oh, it's kicking in. It's kicking in. It's all right. It's cool. Yeah, she wake up, people. She wake up. She just does that from time to time. She forgets that she don't have a microphone, but she just jumps in. But it's all right. Right. So yeah, we're talking me and Mitri CounterAction Production, and we're talking a little talk so one can understand the journey of where the I come from and where he is today and how we got here. And as I say, it's not an easy walk. I mean, you're talking about faith as well and thing, but in a sense, you have to be confident in the creator that created you. So then, do I look at faith? I say, no, I don't really look at faith. I just say, well, you know what? I know that when I ask for something, it's going to happen.
Exactly.
That's it. If you have faith in this thing, you believe in this thing, but are you sure? You know what I mean? Are you 100% sure what you believe in is right or true? You have to know for yourself. So if I get all of this and it's confusing, how do I know? How do I know? Then all I can do is say, the Most High is love. The divinity is love. That's it. Again. You get used to it. I'll tell you. Yeah. Find something to do. Right. That's why I bought that. So, it's all right, people. It's a good job it's not live on the camera, brethren, because they would. It's all right. We'll get used to it. Yeah, that's Sister Lil. Now you're getting to know her. You know what I mean? It's all right. Cool. Right. So you may forget my question now. Love. Yes. So to avoid all this confusion, whether a one is on the right path or the one is on the wrong path, or if you're looking at Rastafari, like them man are confused and then this and that. As we said, the root of the thing is love. Yeah, and the divinity in you is love, and that love comes from the Almighty or the Creator. So you know, so without that, you wouldn't have love. So I see it. Yeah. So that means if the Creator is love, and that love is in I, no matter who you are, even if you're a racist man, once you have love in you, that means you have the Creator in you. You know, the same creator. There's only one Creator that give love. You know what I mean? That is love. I don't think there's a whole heap of them that is love. I think love comes from one almighty being or one force or one power or one divinity is love. You understand what I'm saying? So that's in all of us. I want to love his child. If you can give love, that means that is a spiritual thing, which we all have. So then if I look at Rastafari and the way them what they're dealing with and what they've been through, as you was explaining earlier on about the history and Pinnacle and all them thing there, which a lot of people don't know. The item is just dealing with love, and until you talk to one of the elders, you will not really understand the love that they have for Mother Earth and for the people. You will not understand that. You will not understand the sacrifices that enough of them make, because they love creation, and we are all part of this creation, and we are all connected. But look how man don't even know or don't want to acknowledge that they're connected. They don't want to acknowledge that, and there's differences and discrepancies through either the color of your skin, the way you look, you've got something, or you are more privileged because you are this or you are. There's so much different things. So the red Rasta, they don't deal with that. We not deal with that. We just deal with love. You know what I mean? We don't deal with war, but that means say anybody can walk over we, because when we're ready, we're ready. Because harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. So we don't worry about that.
And in the middle of the city, we still remember nature. We still remember seasons. We still watch the moon. You know, all these different things, I think, which make you lose your path. You know this thing about belief you say, about believing stuff 100%.
You have to know. You're not supposed to believe.
When you do arrive at that place where you fully 100% believe, then you're living it, really.
Yeah, but once you believe, you now know. Of course. You no longer believe. So this word belief, and you believe in something, that means you still don't know.
True.
Because once you know, there's no longer it. I believe. I know this. So I become this. So we know, said that everything is love. And the divinity, the Most High, is love. I believe in God. Yes. I know the Most High. Because the Most High is in I. And when we do something wrong, we have a thing called a conscience. You understand? Have you ever done something wrong and then you have to go home to the wife knowing what you're going to face? Your conscience is kicking in. Yeah, that's a judgment. But that's in you. So that's like the God in we saying you did a wrong thing. So you're going to go for the judgment. Yeah. You understand this? So I look at it as your conscience is a good thing to warn you and to guide you and to discipline you and to keep you in line. When you
people say, how do I know right from wrong? You always know. You always know.
You know.
You also know what giving love feels like in a sense of vibration. And you can even, use it in meditation and so on. So we know that too. So we just shouldn't really have a particular need for anyone to tell us, or a book, or a particular place. even though it's a good thing and it could be a very powerful experience, we can walk with our temple, you know? How much more powerful a concept can you have in a day and age like ours, you know? Yes, Prof. Do you want to use this one?
Check it, 1, 2. This is one I made earlier. Right, yo, as the mic battery went dead and thing. So what the result to the other one? The main thing. All right. Okay. I'm missing something.
We were just using the backup take on this time.
No, I missed it.
It was the portable thing, man.
This
Okay.
That's the on the move thing.
this one I have to kind of like.
There's comments here from the radio or the studio crew.
Yeah, I know they're working hard. That's a big bag of roll up.
Well, that's
you
your
need that,
fault,
listen,
really.
You need that.
That's what I'm
Seriously,
saying.
that's people. This roll up actually got look like a quarter of a shopping bag.
There is an oversized packet of
Jeez,
Rizla in here
That-
as
I thought
well.
it was a bag of crisps, you know. Seriously, I thought it was a bag of crisps. I was waiting to can I have one, but it's roll up. No, that's big. That's big. You look like big things.
Gosh.
All right.
Mine as well.
Oh, then you're crisp. Make it worse. You see, since I said you look like big T, she own up quick, innit? Yeah, it's all right. Keeping it real in there. All right. You see, it's all right. There's the most I give you a thing called laughter, you know. Enough of you lot don't want to use it. Some of you lot too lucky in your thing, you know, the life that you've chosen and the things that go wrong that you don't want to laugh no more. You don't have a reason to laugh. But you have to laugh, brethren, sistering. Find a way. I don't mean you must go and tickle yourself, but find a way.
Even that'll do.
Some people ain't ticklish, you know what I mean? But at the same time, all these things that the most I put in us, emotions, we could use all of them to experience all of them, you know what I mean? And actually laughter is quite good for you, you know what I mean? But some people, they just like stone fierce, don't smile. Serious, I used to be like that. I'm a bit like that sometimes still, you know, when I go out. And I go out into Egypt, you understand? You have to be cool, no time for play, you know what I mean? Just walk through and do what you have to do. And then you come home and you have a laugh. And you smile and you give thanks that the Most High bring you home safely, you know? So, I'm Mitri. We're going to make you play a couple tune, yeah? Because we like to hear some of the selection and thing. And you got a microphone there, you got a microphone everywhere. And tell us what the first tune that you released, what was that?
So I guess that was with the band, which was about 98. But my first vinyl release as I Mitri, I can find that for you, was on this label, was the first release of the first Greek reggae label called pt2 Records.
All right, so what can you do? Can you give us a little history of the tunes, them, like from the first tune, and then go not every single one, but just jump through and give us a little history of, especially with the first tune, and why you make the tune. Because when you make a first tune, you know, that's the hardest tune you have to do, because you have to make sure you make your money back, or something happen, the tune sell or get promoted. It's not easy with your first tune, and nobody wants their first tune to flop.
Exactly. Well, I don't know, it was a series of coincidences, being one of the only Greeks that started in Greece and moved to England. And I came here for education and sound system, and sort of just ended up still being here almost 20 years later. And I was going to sound and listening to music differently. After you go to sound system, after you go to Shaka, you start hearing things differently. So I had a setup at home with live, with a hybrid drum kit, some live bits, some what I could get away with in a normal house, and some electronic bits, couple keyboards. I started trying out fusing the sounds that I loved, so sounds of early Azwad maybe, sounds of Steel Pulse, a bit of Matt Prof from them days, but with sounds that I was hearing around me through, you know, jungle, through grime, through all these different types of music around.
So where do you see reggae music going, roots music? Where do you see it going now?
Well, I think
do you think it's dying out? Do you think it's getting more popular? Do you think it's changing? Do you think it's corrupted? Not so about corruption, but where do you see it's going? What?
It's a difficult question to answer because there's a bit of everything still, and people used to complain about Jamaica having lost the roots, but that's surely made up in the last few years. I have a few pieces of vinyl with version and quite interesting dubs as well, because people were saying, you know, there's just a one drop now, nobody dubs things. So I think really there's still a core of it that's surviving. Everything that's coming out together from the conscious side is serious. They are much more in tune to what's going on over on this side. There's a lot of great things coming out of this side. There's also a lot of things that aren't really roots or UK dub, that are more electro or electronic. But it's still, I think, there is still quite a lot of good things coming out roots-wise. Where, you know, the music in general, though, is definitely not as popular in this country as it once was. And the population also is getting older, man, I feel, in this country. If you start playing around like you do a lot as well, and you play in Spain, and you play in France, and you play in Italy, you see the age ranges and
It's different now.
the amount of people who reach and the levels, and then you know.
So do you think the generations that's taking in the roots music now, do you think that they've accepted and embraced the old style, or do you think they want to change it or make it, or they're doing a different thing?
I think there always is, like, if you look at French music, there is some proper roots in there, but there's also all kinds of hybrids, you know. It's the same in Spain now. If you look again, they have different, like, preferences as well. For instance, in Spain right now, they love a bit of rubber dub, digi style, you know, that kind of, I don't know, mid-80s, late 80s dancehall thing. There's a lot of that in Spain right now, but because of the numbers, that influences the whole scene. So, but I think it's a foundation of it, the real sound system thing, the Rasta thing, it's changed because, first of all, you know, the real sound system thing from Jamaica, that was not a very Rasta thing originally. They were very competitive, very militant. It wasn't really about sharing things with the other sounds or whatever. In Europe, I think that's very different because the people who picked it up were living in squats and various different things. So I've been in Italy, I've been in France, I've been in Spain, where people are sharing one building and there might be three sound. And if one man plays on the street, where he might even get his things confiscated, the other two sounds might give him half their speakers, they might give him amps. I don't see that in the original here tradition when it comes to sound. If you have your sound, you're never going to give, you know, so it happens sometimes that sound collaborate. It used to happen
back in the day,
in
the 80s.
Locally.
You can always borrow boxes.
Same.
Everybody used to borrow boxes.
Well, that's what I think England started, I think. Because they took that tradition, but it was more Rasta here, and there was a much more togetherness, and then that went to a next level when it went in Italy and other places like that. So it's different, I think, but I think it still represents the same approach to life, to governance, to politics, to religion, to all of these different things. The essence of it is still there. It's difficult to say whether hybrid stuff that's more electronic, because French productions have been accused at times of being cold, electronic, buffa buffa kind of stuff. But it all depends on perspective, those things, isn't it?
Well,
like,
I know
all the people always say, oh, your music doesn't sound right.
You can tell the difference. But at least, you know what I mean, regardless of what, I still give thanks that roots music is still spreading throughout the four corners of the earth. It's still alive and it's striving and it's getting stronger. It's not like the rest of music, and no matter what music they put out there, it's on like the hip-hop rap thing. That's just some mad thing anyway. But apart from that, reggae music, roots music is just growing. It's growing. It's not like the rest of them. The rest of them has reached their peak already and they're not going to get no higher than that. But roots is growing. And it's because there's so much different genres and different cultures making this kind of music now. It's just going and it's going and good. So why? I'd like you to play some production Let's hear what
I'll
you've
play
got,
you this.
mate.
You asked me my first tune, so
your
this was
first
in
tune you really-
2007, and it was the first of the 45. It's a tune called Heartful Man, and it sounds a bit like this. Heartful man, CounterAction, yeah. Him is a heartful man. There is no plan. Man just work off the land. Heartful man. There is no plan. Man just work off the land. Him plant his little seed and watch the tree grow strong indeed. He give him good dream. Realize things aren't always what they seem. Strong after strong, keep moving on. Blessed are the meek, for they will carry on. Jah works, don't you know that works? Y'all hear me? Jah works, yes I know that works. Heartful man, there is no plan. Oh gosh, man, just live off the land. Don't have no plan. It may be tomorrow. We're gonna reach Mount Zion someday. It may be tomorrow. Reach, reach, reach. Yes, heartful man. There is no plan. Heartful man. No plan. Strong after strong, keep moving on. Blessed are the meek, for they will carry on. Jah works, don't you know that works? Oh gosh, Jah works, yes I know that works. Heartful man. Heartful man. This is a heartful man, and there is no plan. Man, just work off the land. Heartful man. Plant his little seed. Heartful man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Heartful man. Plant his little seed. Watch the tree grow indeed. Heartful man.
CounterAction, not a blind reaction. CounterAction. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where we're from, the intangible is strong. Where we're from, the intangible is strong. So where you from? And what's going on? Where you from? And what's going on? Oh, what's going on?
Yeah, in tune to Bless FM. Sounds of CounterAction right about now selection. Going through some history at the request of Professor. The Professor asked man have to deliver. Anyway, first release on CounterAction is this tune called Where We're From. This was out in 2007 on 10. To the Harper family. Sounds of Richie Roots on the bass.
Smile. Said where we're from, the intangible is strong. Where we're from, the intangible is strong. So where you from? And what's going on? Where you from? And what's going on? Said where we're from, the intangible is strong. Where we're from, the intangible is strong. So where you from? And what's going on? Where you from?
couple releases later, in come Isaiah Davis.
CounterAction. Separation.
Sounds of CounterAction in focus. Label out to Leicester, Midlands.
Look how long your children are suffer. Look how long your children are suffer. Look how long your children are suffer. Look how long your children's been down there. Look how long them and they are depress us. Look how long, just look how long. Look how long the Afrikaners suffer. 'Cause all over this world, people are people. We should try, yes, try and help each other. Separation, starvation should be a thing of the past. But look how long the children are suffering. Look how long, just look how long. Oh, Jaja. Send another Moses come to free I and I from bondage. So look how long the Jaja children suffer. Look how long they have been depressed and trodden on. Look how long the children have suffered. Separation. No food to eat, no clothes on their back. That's a fact, that's a fact, that's a fact. The African children. It's everything afloat. In case you never know, only in Africa. Your children are suffer. Say look how long your children are suffer. Look how long, people look how long. I said free up Africa. We got to help the poor and the lame. All this moderation is driving me insane. It's driving me insane. So look how long your children have suffered. Look how long. Look how long. Look how long your children have suffered.
Separation, trials and tribulations for any African people, you know. Variation.
Sounds Isaiah Davis straight out of Birmingham Strong. Big up all the Midlands crew, man. Enough respect to the man like Paves. This is the original Dub Factory out of Leicester. CounterAction release on 10-inch. Tune called Asian Rockers. In tune to Bless FM right about now. CounterAction special.
Phenomenon 10, mid-name, got the English on the microphone again. I'm not black or white, I am in Asian. Let the lyrics from my mouth.
Yes, Bless Radio. Big up, big up, big up.
Take all the people, come listen, 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 listen. I am an Asian from an Eastern land, making rich music for every nation. They say whether you are black, white, Chinese, Indian. I'm an of the rhythm to conquer everyone. This one dedicated to all roots lovers, no matter in England or across the border. Nice up the bass, yes, we sharp like a tweeter. Asian root trackers in the roots and culture. Phenomenon 10, mid-name, got the Genghis under the microphone again. I'm not black or white, I am an Asian. Not the lyrics from my mouth, you know they got sent. Take out the people, come listen, 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 listen. I am an Asian from an Eastern land, making roots music for every nation. They say whether you are black, white, Chinese, Indian. I'm an of the rhythm to conquer everyone. This one dedicated to all roots lovers, no matter in England or across the border. Nice up the bass, yes, we sharp like a tweeter. Asian root trackers in the roots and culture. Whether on plastic or whether the plate, we have the music here to educate. Open up your hearts and open up your minds. Sweet roots music on a worldwide. Strong like a lion, we say tough like a rock. Music for the ballad and the dreadlock. Whether you are rich man or whether you are poor, whether you are Babylon or who control the law. One love, one unity, one peace and one blood. One love, one unity, one peace and one blood. Everybody's rocking to the African drum, and they want more till the morning come. It's a new chapter and it's a new verse. Oh, God bless me, say no man I go curse. Come from the dark and into the light. Live by the love, youth man, do the right. I am an Asian from an Eastern land, making roots music for every nation. Say whether you are black, white, Chinese, Indian. I'm an of the rhythm to conquer everyone. This one dedicated to all the roots lovers, no matter in England or across the border. Nice up the bass, yes, we sharp like a tweeter. Asian roots rockers in the roots and culture. One love, one unity, one peace and one blood.
CounterAction! United Nations of Dub.
Dipping into some history from CounterAction there. We're gonna dwell we're gonna delve even into some more CounterAction with some brand new stuff in a little bit. This next track is brand new, not released yet. After the history, you have to balance it out with some brand new stuff. So this one's coming out as part of Zion Train's 30th anniversary. A brand new release coming very soon. Dry Your Tears, Mitri remix. Pre-release this. Train. Tune called Dry Your Tears. I Mitri Refix. Should be out on vinyl very soon, definitely on digital, same way, as part of the 30th anniversary, the 30th year celebration. Zion Train is touring the world, going through the UK, all over Europe and beyond right about now. Now here come part 2. Good for you. CounterAction passing through. This could be a first radio play everywhere. I don't think anybody else has played it yet. Soon to be released. Zion Train, Dry Your Tears, I Mitri CounterAction Mix Refix. So coming out very soon, celebrating the 30th anniversary of Zion Train, that was the I Mitri Refix. And from that one into the brand new release from CounterAction, this one part of the album Upright and Splendid Rainbow Coalition, I Mitri. This one's called Poor Man, out and available to stream or download.
power, the sound and the word. What Babylon promotes is absurd. Elders everywhere have conquered. That love, it is the key word. So, nothing like the cold to remind the poor man of how poor he is. Aye, nothing like the cold to impress upon a man the years upon years of fears. Aye, nothing like the cold to remind the poor man of how poor he is. Aye, nothing like the cold to impress upon a man the years upon years of fears. In our hearts we generate power. We will survive from hour to hour. My voice it shall be heard. The vision's not blurred. My speech is not slurred. Positivity preferred. The power, the sound and the word. What Babylon promotes is absurd. Aye, elders everywhere have conquered. That love, it is the key word.
Sounds a counteraction without any objection. Straight out to Ellie2. Straight out to Leicester. We're not just a bedroom. Brand new Mitri and Rainbow Coalition. Tune called Poor Man. The album is called Upright and Splendid. And here comes the part 2. Coalition, part of Mitri CounterAction's brand new album entitled Upright and Splendid, out and available to stream or download whichever way you use. One more track from that album, a couple more from a couple more projects coming up after that, and then I will hand you back to the capable hands here at Bless Radio. You hear? Sounds of CounterAction, straight out to Leicester.
Alright now, CounterAction. Can't stop it. Oh, you can't stop it. Hey, can't stop the movement, can't stop the flow. In this your time for your mental snow. Can't stop the movement, can't stop the flow. From your lock still to reach your big toe. Whoa. Can't stop the movement, can't stop the flow. In this your time for your mental snow. Can't stop the movement, can't stop the flow. Go your lock still you reach your big toe. Times we are living and testing. Way too much going on for the testing. Hey, youths everywhere, the police are arresting. Listen this, ya cry, we not jesting. No, love is the key, we're at testing. While the priests, little kids, they're molesting. Non-stop the wicked not resting. In our spirit, it's time for investing. So, thousands of youths, they're protesting. Freedom everywhere, they're requesting. Cause it's too much crap we've been ingesting. We're so sick and tired of contesting. Blow, spiritual growth we are besting. While the criminals, them, they are nesting. All falsely, it is time for divesting. Strictly conscious works we're requesting. Bye. Can't stop the movement, can't stop the flow. In this your time for your mental snow. Can't stop the movement, can't stop the flow. Go your lock still to reach your big toe. Whoa. Can't stop the movement, can't stop the flow. In this your time for your mental snow. Can't stop the movement, can't stop the flow. Go your lock still you reach your big toe. Whoa. Step up and receive the higher blessing. His Majesty's works keep on checking. Babylon all around with your mind, they are messing. When we know it's clear, they are guessing. Natural salad with no dressing. And with difficult truths we are wrestling. While underhandedly Babylon is flexing. Still our works, they can't stop us from pressing. No, positive works manifesting. Bootstrap tight and we're stepping. When the system has its way to keep us stressing. Encouraging words I am texting. Every day our knowledge we are deepening. We took heed and our love it is lasting. Tolerance from long time we are suggesting. In our use this fortune we are vesting. No, can't stop the movement, can't stop the flow. In this your time for your mental snow. Can't stop the movement, can't stop the flow. Go your lock still to reach your big toe. Whoa. Can't stop the movement, can't stop the flow. In this your time for your mental snow. Can't stop the movement, can't stop the flow. Go your lock still you reach your big toe. Whoa. 8 times we are living on testing. Way too much going on for digesting. Hey, youths everywhere, the police are arresting. Listen this, ya cry, we not jesting. No, love is the key, we're at testing. While the priests, little kids, they're molesting. Non-stop for the wicked, not resting. In our spirit, it is time for investing. So, thousands of youths, they're protesting. Freedom everywhere, they're requesting. Cause it's too much crap we've been ingesting. Hey, sick and tired of contesting. Spiritual growth we are vesting. Hey, while the criminals they're nesting. Hey, all false leaders it is time for divesting. Strictly conscious works we're requesting. What are ye? Can't stop the movement, can't stop the flow. In this your time for your mental snow.
Out to all Sandman, all people working towards the vibes,
To reach your
towards pressure,
whoa. Can't stop the
towards the message, same way.
flow. In this your time for your mental snow. Can't
Out internationally, big up all sound, man.
the flow. Go your lock still you reach your big toe. Whoa.
Rhythm called the movement. and splendid Mitri and Rainbow Coalition out to CounterAction. And this one is forthcoming, same label, Raw Dubplate Instrumental Volume 1, coming the 12th of October. All digital platforms, download, streaming, etc. This one's called Clouds in the Sky, Sun in Our Heart. Tune to Bless Radio, pre-release business. Coming out on the 12th of October, Raw Dubplate Instrumentals UK Dubsteppers Volume 1. Couple more tunes for me. Enough thanks to all the family. Special request Professor Natty each and every time. A real honor to be passing through London. Hold tight Gladys, hold tight Ruby, all the traveling crew. Yes, then, Bless Radio, thank you for lending me your ears. My name is Mitri, CounterAction. CounterAction Sounds is the label. Just look it up online. I'm sure you'll find all the different links. Enough thanks to Professor Natty, all the Bless Radio family. I'm sure this will not be the last time I pass through a little selection from history to brand new. This is a dub plate. Last couple of cuts I'm going to play a rhythm that is going to be co-released with a label out of Nothing Strong called Dreadwise Music, and this is the first time this is announced generally, so hold tight the massive. This is called Gunny Dub. It's like a West African vibe meets UK dubsteppers, yeah? Dub. West Africa meets UK dub.
You all alone, but let me tell you, my friends, you might believe this world is dead and gone, but let me tell you, my friends, just believe in Jaja. Jaja lights is the only way. Just believe in Jaja. Jaja lights is the righteous way. The rest of money don't deal with no malice, no bad minding. Straight chalice, Rasta woman, she don't deal with no weakness. She wears her crown, they call her the Empress. Do you believe in Jaja? Do you believe in Jaja? The rest of money don't deal with no malice, no bad minding, straight Alice. Rasta woman, she don't deal with no weakness. She wears her crown, they call her the Empress. Do you believe in Jaja? Jaja lights is the only way. Do you believe in Jaja? Jaja lights is the righteous way. The rest of money don't deal with no malice, no bad minding, straight chalice. Rasta woman, she don't deal with no weakness. She wears her crown, they call her the Empress. 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 They call her the They call her the Empress. You might believe that you're all alone, but let me tell you, my friends, you might believe this world is dead and gone, but let me tell you, my friends, just believe in Jaja. Jaja light is the only way. Just believe in Jaja. Jaja light is the rest of way. The rest of money don't deal with no malice, no bad minding, straight Alice. Rest a woman, she don't deal with no weakness. She wears her crown, they call her the Empress. They call her the Empress. They call her the Empress. CounterAction.
Sounds of Gladys.
Check it, 1, 2. Yes, and that was the man, Mitri, CounterAction Production. All right. So, people, thank you for listening, for tuning in. Yeah, you've heard a lot of tunes. Some of them you've never heard before. And big shout go out to Gladys. You know what I mean? Up and coming. I told you, you know. Didn't I tell you? All right. We don't done yet. All right. She's going to make it. She's gonna make it. I remember when she could sing a little bit. Yeah, so the last time I saw you till now, like, there's a great improvement. Great improvement. So if you can improve that much in that short space of time, in a year, you're where you need to be. Yeah? But one day, me and you're gonna sit down and I'm gonna write something with you, yeah, to give you a jump start. Right? Because your lyrical contents is all there. Like, it sounded like you did write that, actually. Oh, cool. And you said you wasn't going to write nothing. Yes. Yeah. You did write it. You would help.
I did write it. I did write it myself. Yes.
Yeah. You was there in it when she said, I ain't not writing, I don't write nothing. I got a witness there, yeah? And then now she comes all the way down there. I did write something. She had all the tone. See, people.
I listened to your advice, you see. I
Yes, see.
listened.
Thank you very much. And it's paid off very well, right? So people, we all got gifts, you know, we all got talent. And this lady was talking, but just the way she was talking and the tone in her voice, it was there. I knew it was there. You know what I mean? And then she came to the session and then she just expressed herself anyway. But at least she jumped out. She came out. You know what I mean? Not like the other people that said they're coming out. I mean, like she, you know what I mean? She kind of expressed herself and it was good. You know what I mean? So she never come out. Yeah, she was already in, right? Don't get it. She in with the hydrant them. She not come out, all right? These people, you see how they think though? All right, no closet thing around here. All right. So she expressed herself. It was good, and now she come back with this. So you're gonna be serious. You're gonna be serious. You're gonna be very serious. You're gonna be one of them serious ones. You know what I mean? Not good. You know what I mean? So watch out. Watch this space. Remember the date and the time when we tell you this. So when she get famous and start doing her tour, all of you look can ask for your free ticket because you was here before she bossed it. You know what I mean? All right? Things. So yeah, you're listening to blessradio.org. Thank you for your listening ears. You can catch us on the WhatsApp and all that stuff next time. I didn't even give you the number again, you know. But next time, if I've heard that reference, the number is 079 31366. But you know how we do things, you know. We should have done it at the beginning, but we do it at the end when the show done. So there's no point calling anyway. So, you know what I mean? So have a laugh, you know what I mean? Have a laugh, you know what I mean? For real. You can get one of them big bag of Chris, what she got. Is it Chris? Roll up? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, one of them thing there. Extra big size roll up and some king size Rizla. If you smoke this, you have to phone the ambulance when you're done. Seriously, for real. All right, but you lot can't see it. You know what I mean? Medical weed, shit. Why? Anyway, for all them bad man who feel you can smoke, you know, but they got a race they call supernatural. Yeah. Raw, ask for raw supernatural. Yeah? And let's see how supernatural you are when you're done on that. Alright? Cool. Alright, so people give thanks for your listening ears. We'll see you same time next week. And be good. And if you can't be good, be even better. Nah. I'll tell you what we'd like to do before we go, because you never know. I'd like you to give them what we call. We do it all the time. We used to do it. You remember, you're going to learn something from this. We used to do it all the time. Before we close the show, we all used to give what we call the word of the day. Right? So each one of you have got to give a short sentence of anything that will help somebody or encourage somebody. You don't stress yourself. There might be a meaning or something that you all say. So I will say, be good. And if you can't be good, you got a problem. That's it. What am I supposed to say? Be careful. No, Virgin, if you can't be good, you must have a problem. You know what I mean? Okay. Right.
Well, give thanks, sir. It's I want to say it's good to be good. Yeah, it's good to be good, and you are what you eat. That's another good one.
I would say show love and be love.
I would say love others as you wish to be loved. A little kindness goes a long way each day, and it helps to change the energy of your day with all who you interact with. So kindness, one and all.
And we had a silent one. She said what she said, but you never really hear it. But if you rewind the tape, yeah, you might hear it. Right? It's subliminal. Just get it. She just said one love, simple things. All right. All right. So people, God bless you, guide you, and strengthen you. And if you're going abroad, God guide you, but you're going up and you're coming down. All right, simple. And we are there. Bless Radio.